I'm so glad you said that, because as you were talking about that, I thought, you know what? This is a great beer to have in the morning.
Yeah.
This is
Belgian waffles with syrup and salty, meaty bacon on the side.
Pints and Pairings is brought to you in part by Word Driving and The Beer Cave. Learn more about our sponsors at hopheadshead.com/pints-and-pairings. Hello and welcome to Pints and Pairings, a very special Pints and Pairings here at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. I'm Curtis Taylor, also known as Hopheads Head.
And I'm Jason Hendrick, whether everybody's hungry. We are excited to be here at the Bounty of the County. First year for the beer and food competition. They've done it in the past with wine, and now a beverage near and dear to your heart, Hophead said, is beer. And we're excited to have 3 competitors. Again, the competitors are all focused on Ventura County. So the restaurants and the breweries are all local to us, and that's as it should be.
And it turns out there's some really great beer in Ventura County. I mean, in the last 5 years.
And building.
So, as a side note, I celebrated my 5-year anniversary of being a California resident just yesterday. And
Officially 5 years.
Officially 5 years. And when we moved here, there was one brewery. There was Anacapa Brewing Company.
That was it.
That was it. And now we've got Anacapa, we've got Surf, we've got Institution, we've got Poseidon coming in. It seems like they're blowing up all over the place. It's a great... And the best part is Institution, which we're drinking and we're going to focus on here.
I sense a little bias in your voice in your statement right there.
Well, because the fact that they're 3-4 miles away from me doesn't hurt.
You're spoiled. My friend.
And the fact that they brew some just really fantastic... Their brewing processes, first of all, are just solid. So everything is crisp and clean. So you can taste the malt, you can taste the hops, you can taste exactly what you can taste the beer. There's nothing there. And their beers are just fabulous food pairing beers.
And we've got a great example of that tonight. We're not like blind to this beer. We've tasted this before, and every time I have it, I'm excited to have it. I like this beer in my glass, and we're talking about the Restraint. So Institution came away recently with the Casa Pacifica Wine, Food, and Brew Festival top billing in terms of breweries with this exact same beer.
Yes, Best in Fest.
Best in Fest.
With the Restraint, it's a brown ale aged on maple wood, which is, you've got to go back and listen to the podcast we did with Sean about this, because they tried several different wood aging techniques, several different woods. I don't want to get too crazy with it.
Easy, killer.
Easy there. But so they tested all of these different things and came across and somehow they settled on maple.
And hard maple too. So I mean, when we talk about maple wood, the first thought is maple syrup.
Yeah.
And there is a little hint of a syrupy sweetness, but I think that's also aided by the malt bill.
Yeah.
The hard maple still adds a great woodsy component.
Right. And it was fascinating listening to him talk about when they would do their taste tests and tasting it with oak, tasting it with chips, tasting it with all these, and why they actually settled in on the maple. So go back and look through the archives. You'll find it, hopheadshead.com/pints&pairings. Along the right-hand side of that page, you'll see... just scroll down and look for Institution, and you can find all of those great podcasts that we did with Institution and especially about the Restraint brown ale.
Yeah, and it's a great brown ale. It's something, if you're into brown ales, we could definitely recommend this beer as something to keep in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about the pairing tonight at the Bounty of the County, they're partnered up with the Kitchen. See how I did that?
Yeah, I like that.
Located in Oxnard at 529 South A Street. And they've got a great food offering to go with this. When we think about beers and food, I prefer something that's not very pretentious, but with great flavor and just really kind of accentuates notes in the beer and vice versa. Tonight, the Kitchen brought a mild pepper. It's not a bell pepper, but there's a little spice in there. We'll have to get the variety they used in a little bit from Kathy, but it's a pepper variety stuffed with a couple of different types of cheeses, breadcrumbs on the top, and bacon, which you can't go wrong with bacon. No. But not only that, it's been cooked in Restraint.
Yes. The bacon was.
The bacon was cooked in Restraint. And this beer by itself, I think, goes really well with a salty protein bacon aspect. But then when you cook the bacon in the beer, it just really heightens it that much more.
Those are some of the best resonating pairings. When you cook with the beer, it's there. That is your first step. If you're just starting to do beer pairings, if you've cooked with the beer, pair that beer with the food.
And I want to throw in one caveat, though, one asterisk, Curtis. Let's not cook too much or too far with IPAs. So if you want to pair something with an IPA, make sure you taste it, you sample it ahead of time before serving it to any guests, because typically cooking with an IPA is going to leave a bitter, aspirity kind of flavor. You get really down into the heart of the resin, and it's not something that's enjoyable.
Right. So to add to your caveat, I'm going to caveat your caveat, sir.
Bring it, sir.
So would be not to reduce the IPA.
Okay.
Now, IPA beer batter, IPA cheddar cheese soup. There are lots of things that IPAs go really well in.
I stand corrected.
But they are not. No, but they're not.
They're not a great reduction agent.
They're not They're not reduced, and so it's not amplifying that the hoppy resins like what you were talking about. So this was. Maybe not a caveat. It was just an addition. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
It's an addendum.
Yes, there you go. To your caveat. So something to think about. Getting to this beer pairing though, the pepper had that a real subtle bitterness, what you would expect out of a bell pepper.
Yeah, and I think it came out of the skin because for me the flesh itself actually had a mild sweetness to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that underlying sweetness that resonates with the malt, like you're saying, but there is a bitterness in the skin that came out and kind of grabbed onto the mild hops that are in this brown ale.
That was one of my favorite aspects of this pairing, and what I found interesting was that the bitterness resonated with the wood flavor in the beer. It really heightened that. Those two came together. It created almost a seamless transition between the two. I hadn't really... I mean, what I'm really, really excited about was I didn't expect that at all. I expected the cheese to kind of... overpower it and do the heavy lifting, but the bitterness of that pepper was shined in this pairing. And
for the nature of an event like this, they're doing smaller samplings, they're doing quick bites. I would like to see this dish in a larger scale. I'd like to see a bigger pepper, a little more cheese, and a little more breadcrumb as a full-on appetizer that we could pair with this beer for just a more gracious and generous sampling and analysis. But I think in the small bites that we had with the beer, it's a really nice pairing, and it's exciting to see the way the different flavor components melded together.
I don't think I could say it any better. You wrapped that up so nicely. Thank you. In fact, I know I couldn't say it any better. I was trying to be magnanimous maybe about myself. Oh, I don't think I could do that much better than you.
I like that word, magnanimous.
No, you did.
We should do a homebrew called magnanimous.
Magnanimous. That was a fabulous description. I think...
should we take a break and refill our glasses?
I think we should. And, we've got 2 more bites, 2 more beers to go, too. So I think it's good. Plus, we want to visit with some of our friends that are walking through the audience, walking by, giving us a, hey, what's up kind of look. And so we'll be happy to get them
We're
on.
that sideshow at the Ventura County Fair. So true to form and true to people's money's worth, we're the sideshow.
Absolutely. So let's close out. Remind you to eat, drink, and be happy.
We'll see you at the next pour.
Cheers. Hi, I'm Curtis Taylor from Hophead Said.
And I'm Jason Hendrick from Everybody's Hungry. Whether it's a night out with friends or listening to the Pints and Pairings show, getting home safe requires some planning. We trust our vehicles and ride home to Weird Driving, based in Oxnard, California.
Find out more about this designated driving service at weirdriving.com. That's WERE driving.com. If you're not in SoCal, find a trusted DD service in your area, and we'll see you at the next pour.
Cheers.